go already. So it'll be Yoshi on the left and Penzo on the right. And our first matchup is going to involve Yoshi Bowser as Bite and Bok. And Penzo will be coming in with Kid Cobra. So we're going to see some big explosive weapons coming out from both sides of the field. Penzo rocking the nade and the Hydra. Meanwhile, Yoshi Bowser is going to start off with a pretty nice grab, sending Penzo down, coming in with that Seiki and the hottest of slaps. And that explosion is once again going to catch out Penzo, who's getting a little too close for comfort there. Bark is going to be down, and unfortunately Yoshi did the wrong move there. Went for the shield. Penzo went for that punish and got it perfectly. You see Bark just coming in with that uncharged toaster. It's going to get knocked down. That Bark is very, very handy for Bite and Bark. It gives Bite the chance to get up high, get that height elevation and use it to their advantage. And unfortunately Yoshi committed to that rush, but Penzo was patient, waited for them and poked on through. So both not getting anything out of their rushes, but crucially it's Penzo who starts with the first point. He's going to quickly box that Seiki out of the air, and you just see it force this self-destruct on Yoshi, so already being used against them. And it's a high risk, high reward arm, the Seiki. It's a fully guided arm, so it'll home in to wherever your opponent was. But on top of that, if it is picked out and it's charged, as long as it hits something, it will explode. It's a massive AoE, and the kicker to that is that it's a shock. So it's very much high risk, high reward. The rushes are brutal from it, but Penzo is not giving Yoshi a chance to really properly utilize it. And that's going to be a big time grab. Yoshi just pretty much a punch away from going down. You see that Yoshi's committing to that. Gets one pick with the missile, but could not get any more than that. But it's chipping Penzo down here. They're certainly not going down without a fight. And again, the missile catches Penzo. All they need is one more punch, and they finally find it. And Penzo will celebrate by bouncing on the trampoline that was revealed midway through the fight. The boomerang very much helping them. And they had to hold on though. Yoshi was starting to come back bit by bit by bit. But Penzo will start this set with a point lead. Now for early on, the matches are going to be best of 3. So if Penzo just wins one more match, he is through straight away. And now, our 5 starter stages will have 2 counter picks added to the list, which are Scrapyard and Via Dulce. The winner of the match gets to ban 2 stages. The loser gets to pick which stage we go to next out of the 5 that remain. And in this instance, Yoshi has opted for Buster Beach. Probably for a variety of reasons, because unlike Mausoleum with its fully spherical, and with the exception of the trampoline, which doesn't get revealed until a good amount of damage has been done to it, a relatively straightforward, can reach you from anywhere kind of stage. Whereas Buster Beach, a little bit more different. You've got that ramp that leads to the, what a lot of people call the hot pocket area, where you just do not want to be, especially if someone wants to wall you down, and Yoshi is going to come in with not 1, but 2 toasty slaps. Penzo's answer to that is going to be a boomerang and the Hydra. The Hydra will just flat out run straight through Bite and Bark if it hits, and obviously the boomerang is just going to be there to do some juggling shenanigans. And as you can see, it's Yoshi who is down in that bottom area, not where they want to be. Cobra is a very slippery sucker, and that's going to be the rush. Juggles up, could not get the hit that they were looking for, but look at this already. Yoshi is just 1 poke away. They just don't have an answer to this, and the Hydra once again just runs through everything that Bite has. And that's going to be set point for Penzo. Probably won't switch anything from that. No, they will not. Yoshi, double slaps definitely did not work there. So instead, they're going to bring in the Seiki again. And this is already working a little bit better than before. And you can see Penzo just backtracking just a little bit, knowing full well that if that missile does hit, it's very much going to be a bad time for them. And that is 360 damage. And Penzo already past the halfway mark, and needs to be a little careful here. Siki being one of those kind of heavy arms, and that's a nice grab punish there. The explosion caught Penzo out, and obviously it was charged, so the shock means that it's a free grab for Yoshi, but Penzo playing that aggressive game because, you know, it's Cobra, and Cobra can be very aggressive with the kind of mobility they possess. Arm weak and down on the side. It does mean that Yoshi is able to get a little bit of a punish, but now it's Penzo going in for the KO, and despite being the first one into critical, the Hydra once again just runs through Bite and Bark, and Bark, commiserations, but your master is in the underground bracket. Penzo wins that set 2-0. But a good showing though from Yoshi. The combinations do work, and obviously Siki was running through quite a fair bit of that, but Cobra is a slippery customer. If he gets to go into a spot where he's able to take a little bit of advantage, like if he knows that he's got a chance to just throw the Hydra out, as long as the Siki's already out, the Hydra will likely hit, and unfortunately it does. And Bark wasn't really able to be utilized in a good way. Obviously, it's very much RNG when Bark throws out that wonderful punching glove, but even then, Penzo had an answer for it. So Penzo will be moving onwards, and they will be going up against reigning champion Sherry, who won it last time out. And Kozolina defeated Slacks by 2-0. So Yoshi and Slacks will be in the underground brackets. Who they will face will depend on how round 2 plays out. And it looks like our next battle, our match that we'll be streaming from round 2's side of things, will be Yada versus Yam. Okay, both of these two are having good showings as of late, so I'm expecting some pretty close shenanigans here, especially knowing the fact that they're both aiming for that semi-final spot. Remember, nothing is certain, nothing is guaranteed until you reach winner's final. That's when you can sit back and know that you have made it to top 3, no matter what happens. So it's going to be an interesting few matches here. Iceman Kozolina is always a very nervy and close match. Shetty versus Penzo should be a lot of fun. Riff versus Okram will be very interesting to hear how that one plays out, especially again because Okram has been doing pretty well as of late, and then Riff is Riffer. But yeah, this match also promises to be relatively close as well, so this should be fun. It should be fun on all sides of things. If you are tuning in via the chat, feel free to cheer on whoever you want. Sometimes it's just always the way it is. And do remember that if you are interested in joining in the ARMS shenanigans, it's never too late to do so. Yes, this is the last tournament of the season, but that's just for the season. Once this season is over with, a brand new season will be on the horizon, and if you want to get involved and challenge the best of the best, as you'll obviously see who the top 10 will be very soon. But if you just want to join in, whether you're brand new to the game or whether you've been out of the loop for a little while, we are always welcome. And you know, like I said, at the top of the hour, we do run every fortnightly. So every 2 weeks you'll see us back. And the timing is always consistent. It's always 2 p.m. For me, that's UK time. You get the general idea. So looks like we are going to be starting on Temple Grounds. Always nice to see us go to 3 different stages on our first go round. As of late, there have been certain stages that have been making more of an appearance than others. So it's always fun to see that. So we are going to start with, we're going to go up with next even, Yam versus Yada. Yam will be on the left side of your screen, playing as our wonderful favourite clown, Lollipop, coming in with a Sparky and a Scorpio. Yada is going to bring out our second Bite and Bark of the stream. This time around, a very different combination than what Yoshi had. We're going to see a Thunderbird and a Parasol. And Lola is immediately going to start off with a grab. is going to send our wonderful mechanical cop down onto the ground. Then we'll go outside a little bit more of a different stage. 4 pillars, which you can either hide behind or just throw curved arms around, which obviously we see Yada coming in with one such example of that Thunderbird. But so far, they're finally starting to get that used to Yam now just dancing around them. It's the usual routine. This and DNA Lab have that in common. Obviously DNA Lab with 2 more tubes. And that Thunderbird is going to find the mark on the clown. Again, Yam just dancing around there, just biding their time, trying to get a mistake out of Yada, who is going to commit to the rush just a little too early, I'm afraid. And Yam is going to get a quick punish. Sometimes it feels like an eternity from pressing rush to actually firing out a punch. And fortunately for Yam, they were able to stop it in time. Yada is on the cusp of crit, and Yam now has a decision to make whether they want to try and fight through this with 30 seconds to go, or if they just want to commit to the rush, which they do. Both went for the jump, and Yada gets punished, and also gets a stack of poison left on them as well. Arm weak on the right hand side, which means if that goes into red, it will break, and essentially gives Yam a chance at a free hit. There it goes, down it goes. Yada just about gets away with it, but is not able to get a shield back up after it does despawn, and it's going to get KO'd. So Yam will take the initiative in this match. Both are going to bring out a Sparky now, so no more Thunderbird for Yada. Going to keep the Parasol though. Yam naturally going to keep what worked. Scorpio is very much helping. Scorpio has 2 ways of attacking. It can scuttle along the ground like a scorpion. Or it can just fly through the air like a frisbee, as you see there, and it does leave the poison stack. It does chip away you. It also causes your character to stutter, so it's very much an inconvenience. But you do not want to be hit by it 3 times in a row, because it goes up to 3 and it will just aggravate you. Yada is going to go for the rush, but doesn't get it. Yam thought they were in a good position to go for a counter rush, but Yada chose the better part of Valor, actually getting the shield up just in time, so both not really getting anything out of that, although Yam does maintain the lead here. And again, Bark is just not able to hit any of these punches at the moment. Both Yam and Penza so far have had an answer for our wonderful little doggle. Arm weak on the right hand side though. Yada is starting to finally apply the pressure. Got a little too close though. That Scorpio just about took them off edge a little bit. And that should be a rush confirm. It doesn't break the shield. Yam takes a couple of hits but does not get knocked down. Crucially, Arm finally does give way. But with 20 seconds to go, Yada's got to get a grab, maybe 2 grabs, definitely 2 grabs if they want to try and take the lead from this. But Yam knows they have rush. They can pop this with 10 seconds to go and they'll be absolutely safe. But that was not what they wanted, because I think that now gives Yada the lead with 2 seconds to go. Here comes the rush. Chip damage will get the KO. Well, it won't get the KO, but it'll get the timeout, and you know exactly what I mean. Yam will take that point just at the end. They knew they had to fling it out, and unfortunately for Yada, they dropped the shield trying to move out the way, and in doing so, they took the hit, which made absolutely sure that Yam was going to get that point. So, Lola will start off with the point advantage. Naturally, they're just looking for that one more win. But it's still very close. It's still a very close match. Again, yes, it ended 2-0 in Yam's favor, but sometimes the scores don't really do it justice to how close it can end up being. Like I said, those last 10 seconds, they were both on the cusp. They were both in critical, both on similar health, so you knew Yam probably had to use that rush, knowing full well that Yada would have to do their best to not take damage, and unfortunately that's just how it goes. Yada is going to switch, so we're going to see the Bite and Bark be dropped in favor of Twintel, who's coming up with a slightly different weapon arm loadout. Yam's choice is going to be a Tri-Blast with that Sparky this time around. Meanwhile, Yada with Twintel going to come in with a Coolerang and a Toaster. So, playing with fire and ice, which is always nice. But so is that Tri-Blast, and obviously once that's charged up, again, it's an explosive arm. It can cause a self-destruct if timed correctly, but if it does hit Yada in a charged state, it'll do damage first and then explode, causing that additional damage, which yeah, again, don't underestimate the AoE of that. It will take you. Arm weak on the right hand side for Twintle already, so needs to be a little bit more careful here, because with a rush available, if Yam got that charge just a little bit earlier, they would go for those, because if you shield that, you're probably going to have an arm just go down, your shield will be broken, and that will just be free rush damage. Never want to go through that. So also probably doesn't want to be on that down area either. She does have Actress Aura, which does slow the arms coming her way, so she can figure out what she wants to do. If she wants to have enough time to either get the shield up or try to move, you get the general idea. It's a very handy thing, and she can do that both on the ground and in the air as well. So, as you see that, again, the blow is just slowing down. Both with rush available, Yada will finally commit to it, but Yam, well, that's Lollipop for you, just bounces all the way away. 20 seconds to go. Massive health lead here for Yada, so they've turned this around already. This combination working much better here. And the Tri-Blast just aren't really coming through. Arm is going to be finally down, but Yam not going to throw out the rush because they know there's no point in doing so. The health deficit is too big. They're going to give Yada the point here, but not without stalling out the time. So, heading on into point number 2. Yam is going to keep the Tri-Blast, but is going to switch out. We're going to see the Scorpia coming in. So, see if the Scorpia can negate that Coolerang in some way. Both can at least curve around a little bit. Yada, naturally, going to stick with what worked. The Fire and Ice playing out beautifully. Yam is going to force Yada into that Hot Pocket, which is where you do not want to be. And there's a reason why we call it the Hot Pocket. Because no matter where you go, you're taking the damage. And Yam, look at this. Yam went from going down to a massive health deficit to nearly getting a perfect. But Yada's punch is going to fly through and is going to say no to that idea. And look at this. Yada just like 2 punches at the very least away from losing this advantage here. Does have rush available, but again, not really a point throwing it out at this point with Yam having such a big health lead. The Toaster is going to hit, but Yam is going to stay on their feet. And now the rush will come out, but Yam managed to get the shield up in time. The punch hit and knocked Yam temporarily, but they had enough awareness. They had enough time to get the shield up before it hit. So unfortunate from Yada, but they have turned this around. Yam now into critical, but Twintel now in a position where they do not want to be. One more punch or a grab is all Yam is looking for here. But now it's on the same foot here. Yam knows that the Toaster does that little bit more damage if it's charged. Both throwing out grabs, both just a little too far away, and the Toaster is gonna hit! The Toaster will hit, and that means that this set, as I had a feeling it might, is gonna go to match number 3. It is 1-1. Both fighters winning their respective matches with a 2-0 victory. So, very, very interesting. So whilst we wait for the next match to be decided, I can tell you that reigning champion Chetty has knocked Penzo out 2-0. Iceman, I think, has gone through. I don't know what's happened in that match, but Iceman is through. Costelina is down into underground bracket. And Iceman will take on Riffer in their semi-final match, as Riffer defeated Okrim 2-0. So this is the only match that's going to match 3, which is very interesting to see. Looks like we are going to go to DNA Labs. So the only starter stage that we have not seen then so far in this stream, it is still early days, is a Sparring Ring. And obviously we haven't seen either of the counter pick stages yet, but you get the general idea. Yam is going to mix things up once again. So I say once again, it's Yam's turn to switch out fighter this time. So Yada naturally going to stick with Twintle, going to come in with that Toaster, and actually brings in the Power Soul this time around. Yam meanwhile going to drop Lollipop, and we're going to see Min Min coming in with a Phoenix and an Ice Dragon. So taking a leaf out of Yada's book somewhat, coming in with the Fire and Ice combination, and the Phoenix is going to fly around that Power Soul and does connect with Yada. Deals a bit of damage. Obviously that fire remains sure that Yada is going to go down every time it hits as it charged. And the tubes of the DNA Lab, like I said, there's 6 of them, and the stage is also bigger as well. So this is definitely going to be one of those stages where if Yam can start getting that little bit more of a gap between Tintel, and look at this once again, that is going to be a rush punish, and you saw how much time it took for Yam. Like, even after the shield break, they knew that they had more than enough time. Yada was not going to be able to do anything about it, and the rush fires in big time round, and the Ice Dragon, much like the missiles, do massive damage if they connect with the rush, and Yada, well, that's going to be a quick point to Yam, who is not messing around here. They do not want to go down to underground bracket. It smashes 2 tubes in the process, so that'll clear up the space a little bit. Yada is going to stick with this combination, so they believe that this can work, but the Phoenix and Dragon were very much catching them off guard there. And you see Yam not able to get the Dragon Arm up just yet on that Phoenix. And they thought about it, but again, Yada's keeping on that pressure. Now that Yada goes down, the Phoenix is up. So what that basically means is that that arm on the left... Oh, a nice punish as well. Managed to use the tube to their advantage there, and now will come out with one of their own. Forces Yada to block up. The Dragon makes sure that they do not put that shield down anytime soon. And arm weak on the right-hand side again, but yeah, as I was saying, Yam's Dragon Arm means that that Phoenix is now permacharged until Yam gets knocked down. It is, yeah, it makes that just that little bit more scarier. A bigger hitbox on the bird just basically means that it's a lot harder to avoid it. But the Toaster is starting to get these pokes in there. If they were charged, they would at least disable Yam's arm, but not to be. And finally gets the 1-2 punch they were looking for. Sends Yam down, and very much stays in this match. Yana with rush available. If they can get another poke or two, they might be able to tip Yam into breaking point, break the shield there, and deal 85 damage. They will take the lead in just for the tiniest of margins. But Yam can KO with this, but won't be able to KO with this. So with 15 seconds to go, both on a similar health, I think Yada just about has the lead, and now definitely has the lead as Yam goes into critical, and so does Yada with 5 seconds to go, and they know they just cannot afford to take any further damage. But the Dragon hits! The Dragon hit! Oh no! You gotta feel for Yada. You cannot distance yourself from a fighter with the Dragon Arm because it excels at the range. And Yam is going to take that away and is going to win that point 2 points to 1 and will go through to the next round. But yeah, I think Yada knew that with time going down, your immediate instinct is to distance yourself from your fighter and make it that much harder for your opponent to hit you. But unfortunately, the Dragon Arm, that laser hits from a severe amount of it's such a ranged weapon. You just can't run away from that because you immediately give your opponent so much advantage. And you saw the second they hit them, Yada realized they now had to close the gap. They actually got a hit in there. If Yam had taken another point of damage earlier on, that would have been a double KO in any other day, but not today. So as a result, we are now going to move on to our winners semi-final. Both of these will be streamed, and our first one up for grabs is going to be reigning champion Riffa. Not reigning champion Riffa, reigning champion Shetty. You can slap me on the hand for that one. That was very bad for me. We're going to be seeing Riffa take on Iceman. These two have won this cup before, so they know exactly what they're doing. So it's going to be fun to see who is going to get the better of them this time around. And it looks like we are going to start exactly where we left off. Yes, we are. We are going to go straight back to DNA Lab for the start of our first winners semi-final. We'll have Riffa on the left coming in with Ninjara, Iceman coming in with Min Min on the right. Our setups are going to be Tri-Blast and Ice Dragon versus Tri-Bolt and Ice Dragon. So pretty much the same arm setup, just with different fighters. And the fact that one is an explosive bolt and the other is a stun bolt. So the stun will do exactly what it says on the tin. And you get to see it right there in action. It temporarily disables your opponent completely and allows you to either get a follow-up punch, which Iceman did with the Dragon, or it allows you to go in for a grab if you're close enough. Riffa is going to commit to a rush first and scores with 350, and despite that initial advantage from Iceman with the stun, they already find themselves in critical condition. Does land the freeze and punishes the shield, because that's what you do. And is going to grab Riffa and send them down just onto the cusp of the halfway mark, but Riffa still maintains lead, and they're just looking for one lick of laser from that dragon to take it from them. But having said that, Iceman could now KO with this rush, and they're going to commit to it. Except Ninjara just does not allow you to do that. Ninjara's ability, whenever they whenever they do their side dash in the air, or whenever they block a successful punch attack, they will teleport and poof, either left or right, which is exactly what we have just there. Just poof to the left and got themselves an opening, fired in the bolt, and Iceman had nothing that they could do to block it. And once again, Riffa's going to get another successful rush pick with this Tri-Blast and this Ice Dragon. You notice that Iceman has switched out the bolt for the Sparky and has got that perma charged up on the Dragon Arm now. They're looking to try and just flat out stop Riffa from doing anything with the shock, but remember that the Sparky does have the shortest shock timer in the game, so you have to be very close to use it, so it's a little counterintuitive sometimes to have this with the Dragon, but it can work. We have definitely seen this work plenty of times before. But the arm is already weak on the right hand side. They do successfully catch that spark with the Dragon. So the second the spark hits, if it does, the Dragon is immediately there to launch in an attack of their own. And they will connect with a rush this time. 300 damage. And they're both on similar kind of health here. So, and this is still 35 seconds to go. Riffa finally gets poked by the Dragon. And make that a second in a row. And Iceman quickly turned that on its head. So our first semi-final match is already going the distance in the first point. Both are going to stick with that Ice Dragon because that's just what they're both trained to do, especially on DNA Lab. But yeah, Iceman going to stick in with that Sparky. Loses the Dragon temporarily, but just about gets away with it. Does not take any damage from Riffa. And this is how... this is what top level players look like. They're able to somehow find a way of not taking damage, even when it looks like they really should do. Riffa is the one who takes the first damage in the end and gets knocked down by the Sparky as well. And again, 2 follow-up punches from Iceman makes absolutely sure that the advantage is well and truly theirs. No Spark this time round. They've just got an answer, but Riffa is gonna knock Iceman for a loop. Nice amount of damage once again, but doesn't quite get them on to the halfway mark, so Iceman will maintain lead and advantage. Make that now similar health, but remember, Iceman does have rush, so they can bring this out if needs be, and picks Ninjara out of the air with another well-timed Sparky punch. And Sparky is big and intimidating, but Riffa is not backing down whatsoever. Arm weak again for Min Min on the right-hand side, and they're both in critical with 30 seconds to go. Both with rush available, and Iceman is the one who is in a bit of a disadvantage here, gets caught by the blast. Riffa has lead, but needs to be careful, will commit to the rush to try and bait out Iceman, but both will not hit. I had to wait to see if the other laser was coming through, but it did not. Riffa's comes out just before Iceman can get theirs out in time. And after all of that, Riffa is going to take the lead at a very, very close match. GG's to both, and that's just the first point. That's just to take the advantage in the set. So, Riffa will be doing our bans. I think Riffa immediately banned both of the counter picks, so we still won't be seeing those anytime soon. Instead, we'll go from one tube arena to the other as we head back to Temple Grounds. We're trading 6 massive green tubes for 4 ancient pillars. And it looks like it's going to be the same fighters for both. We're going to see Ninjara and Min Min. Are there going to be any changes to this? It looks like it. Iceman has flat out dropped the Tri-Bolt and is bringing in the Chakram in its place. Riffa gonna come back in with that Tri-Blast and Ice Dragon. And already, Dragon doing its thing. Even if it's not charged, it can still just curve in and just aggravate you. Just deal that a little bit more damage. And again, especially on a stage like Temple Grounds, where yes, the pillars are there, but don't underestimate the range and how long the laser can last. Like, you just see it curving around and you think it'll just disappear by the time it gets to you, but it doesn't. And Iceman already starting out with a monumental deficit to claw back here, already on the cusp of critical, in fact is in critical Riffer's just looking for that perfect. Riffer's looking to just flat out stomp on Iceman, but Iceman does manage to get a poke in and denies Riffer the perfect. Iceman is just a punch away from going down already. Both with rush available. If you're Iceman, you probably won't see this thrown out anytime soon. And as a result, Riffer is going to jump in, bolts in hand, straight into Min Min's face. Didn't really allow them a time to really get the charge up on that chakram. And is just looking for one more point to go through into winner's final. Remember, a place in top 3 is up for grabs here. And Riffer again going to start off with another well-timed Tri-Blast. Explosion catching Iceman and sends them straight back down. They've traded the chakram for the Sparky. And Riffer is going to fire in, clips with the bolt. Oh no! And Iceman thought that they were high enough, but they were not. Remember that Temple Grounds does have that kind of high deficit. It does bump a little bit down. Not obviously as severe as a place like Ninja College, but Iceman thought that they were high enough, but they were not. They got caught by Riffer's rush anyway. And it means that they will have to charge up all over again. And yeah, already on the cusp of critical. They are finding some punches, but Riffer has had total control in this stage so far, despite it being Iceman's pick. And that is going to be a rush into a KO. And Riffer, after a very nervy and very close first match, is going to walk. It's just going to walk cleanly out of Temple Grounds with a 2-0 victory. And a 2-0 in the set means that Riffer, as we've seen oh so many times before, is in to winner's final and has made it to top 3. Iceman will have to fight it out in the underground bracket. So, whilst we get ourselves set up for semi-final number 2, which will be between reigning champion Sheddy, I got it right this time, and Yam, a little bit of a report from the underground bracket, because there's been a fair amount of action going on down there. Obviously we can't stream everything from the underground bracket because time constraints and whatnot. Okurim has eliminated Yoshi Bowser from the tournament, so they are out of here, unfortunately. But congrats to Okurim, they are at least through. And Slacks, unfortunately, has had to drop out by the looks of it, so it does mean that Yada gets a bye into Underground Round 2, so Yoshi Bowser and Slacks are out. Now, it also looks like the Kozolino has had to drop as well, which means Okurim's match against Kozolina in Underground Round 2 is also not happening, so unfortunate to see these kind of things happen, but them's the breaks. These things do happen, so Okurim will go immediately into the Underground quarterfinals. They will face the loser of this match, which is Sheddy versus Yam. Iceman, meanwhile, will be awaiting in the other Underground quarterfinal. They will take on the winner of Penzo versus Yada. So there's still plenty to play for and some very spicy matches down there. So, without further ado, our second semi-final is about to get underway. Naturally, Sheddy winning last week's cup. They're looking to get back into proper winning ways and go the distance. Retain that cup, because why not? You have to try and, you're not just wanting to break into top 10 for the PR points for the season, but you're looking to get as many wins as possible to make sure you're aiming for that for as high into that top 10 as possible. You want to get that number 1 spot? This is how you do it. It looks like we are going to be starting off at Buster Beach. And both are readying up now. Yam had a very interesting match against Yada, that 2-1 match. In fact, it's the only match so far that has gone to match number 3 in these best of 3s. So there have been some close points, yes, but Yam's the only one who has fought in a full best of 3 match. We'll see if they can take reigning champion Sheddy the distance in this as well, or if Sheddy is going to prove why they are the reigning champion. Sheddy on the left coming in with Ribbon Girl, Yam on the right coming in with Min Min, so expect a lot of fast-paced action here. Obviously the power will be on Yam's side with that Dragon Arm. Up comes the Phoenix, and that will just that'll hinder Ribbon Girl's agility just a little bit more. It's more stuff to try and dance around, and so far it's not working out for Sheddy. They're just unfortunately jumping straight into that big bird. They've closed the gap to try and at least force initiative, and does get it with our windy version of the slaps. Also coming in with that roster, we've seen Sheddy use this time and time again. You see Yam also having it out as well. Not on the Dragon Arm because they prefer it to be the Phoenix since it will hinder the Ribbon Girl more. And despite Yam being in this hot pocket, they will only take 75 damage from that. But they cannot afford to keep backing out into that corner because they've got nowhere else to go. They use the rush to get out of there. But they know they won't be able to do any damage. They also got a free charge out of that as well. You notice that Sheddy was just spending all that time blocking. So Yam immediately went, well, if I can't hit you with the rush, I'll at least charge up my arm and get myself ready and back into this match. Weak on the left-hand side, but it won't bother Yam too much if they can get a good roaster hit like that. It's unguided, so it means much higher damage, but it's a lot harder to hit with. But when it does hit, boy howdy, is it absolutely beautiful. And it's actually going to knock Sheddy into critical first. Now we have 20 seconds to go. Another good Phoenix hit here. Sheddy finally does get a grab and sends Yam back into the hot pocket, but is going to fall straight into a roaster. And Sheddy is going to have to try and accommodate this a little bit better here, and they're going to switch out into the Birchuk. Going to keep that roaster. The roaster immediately hit the plinth. So unfortunately for them, they were not able to take advantage because they knew Yam was probably going to go immediately back to charge up that Dragon Arm. They will get the rush at least, so 325. They'll immediately disable that and put Yam back into a square into square one. But it's not bothering Yam too much. They're still trying to just close up this gap. Both going for the rushes here, but it's going to be no go for Yam on this occasion. Does get the roaster charged up. You notice how the roaster is on the Dragon Arm now and not the Phoenix. They feel like if they can get the hits in, they can at least cover what Sheddy is bringing to the table in the form of that Birchuk. Obviously, it does have 2 modes of attack, much like how the Scorpio did. But it's used for a little bit more than that. And obviously, you could just freeze and stall out this Min. But so far, Yam has an answer for Sheddy and has again brought them into critical. But now Yam into critical as well. Both just shielding, both trying to bait out. I think Yam knows that Sheddy has that rush, will probably want to try and go for it. Might even try and go for a gap. Gets a 1 poke with the roaster. And that was what Sheddy was waiting for. Was waiting for Yam to try and just look into a moment where they're like, okay, I just need to hit you once. And Sheddy immediately responds with using the rush and bringing this to 1 apiece. In doing so, though, they've given Yam the advantage here, and the rush is going to come out, but it's not going to hit, and Sheddy is going to punish it, so they don't have to worry about that at all anymore. So both will have to charge up their rushes the hard way around, and Ribbon Girl is going to start using that air suit, that wonderful air good, that's I'm losing my words here, that air mobility, and it's going to get not 1 but 2 very good successful grabs, sends Yam on the cusp of critical. And Sheddy hasn't even gone past the 75% mark, so Sheddy is finally relearning or getting back used to Yam's playstyle and is forced into that hot pocket, and that will be a KO. And Sheddy turns that around after a very bumpy start. They just about managed to eke out that 2nd point with using the rush, and the 3rd point is finally going to go their way. So reigning champion Sheddy had a bit of a fun time there, it must be said, but they do finally take that 1st point, but it's certainly not over yet. I'm going to see Viados and Mausoleum banned, so I'm wondering if Yam did pretty well on that stage. Yeah, I thought he would. I absolutely thought that Yam would do that. Has decided to go straight back to Buster Beach, so they absolutely believe that they could take this point away from Sheddy. So we'll see if Sheddy has an answer for that. Looks like it will probably be Ribbon Girl again. Again, I should also probably mention in the rules that if you do decide to switch character, if you won the match, you have to announce that. But now it is going to be Ribbon Girl versus Min again. Will there be some different arms in here? No, I don't think so. Birchuk and the Chakram are coming out for Sheddy. It's going to be the Chakram and the Roaster this time around. Meanwhile, is going to bring that Roaster in again. Also going to bring in the Power Sword this time around. And the Roaster going to be on the Dragon Arm. I feel like the Phoenix was definitely working out for them. But, Sheddy is the champion for a reason. They can adapt to a lot of playstyles just as the match goes on. The Power Sword is going to be a little bit more of a hindrance. If that does hit, Ribbon Girl is going to go flying. And the one thing you do not want to be is juggled by Min. And yeah, I'm going to start out again with the first blows. On the cusp of breaking that arm, but got a little bit too greedy there, and Shetty will just quickly punish and remind them that they are still very much in this. Roaster will come out and do big time damage again to Shetty, who is past halfway mark. So again, just like in the first point, Yam is starting with the better sense here. Comes out with the rush, thought about committing to more. Instead, does exactly what they did last time round, backed out of it and went for the Dragon Arm. But unfortunately, Shetty read the call on that beautifully. Realized that Yam was only going to go backwards and came in with the rush and fully punished it. But they still need to be careful here because Yam is able to jump in the air just as much as Ribbon Gold does. Yes, she has a whole lot of double jumps that she can muster as opposed to other fighters. But crucially, Yam is getting some very good hits in with the Power Soul and is just immediately flooring Shetty, who's just a punch away from going down. The Shankram will find its way to hit Yam in the ankles, and Yam needs to be careful here because if a roaster hits, it can KO, I think. 10 seconds to go. Yam in the cusp of this hot pocket with arm down, almost down on the right-hand side. Commits to the rush because they want to finish this off. Ribbon Girl is just bouncing around, but misses with the roaster crucially and cannot get another punch out. So Yam will take the first point. A very nervy finish there. It does mean that Shetty will come in with rush already available and is going to bring in that Burchuck straight away. That arm was the answer to Yam last time round, so they're going to see if they can do it again. Rush will come out. I thought Yam was just going to get out of the way, but they are caught. 230 damage is going to go against them. But again, they're able to find a way of knocking Shetty down, but can't make the use out of the Dragon Arm just yet. It is bringing out the Phoenix this time around, but again is going to get grabbed by Ribbon Girl and sent straight back into the hot pocket. They're not going to even find the roaster hit here. This could be a very quick seesaw again from Shetty, who's just now looking for one more hit. Roaster doesn't find it, neither is the Burchuck. And Yam, despite being in this hot pocket, is lasted very well, but unfortunately commits to a grab that was never going to hit. And Shetty is finally going to find the mark with the roaster and tie this up 1 apiece. Yam with rush readily available. They're going to bring in the Power Soul by the looks of it. Going to keep that roaster. So no Phoenix this time round. They switched to the Phoenix and it didn't work this time round. Shetty hasn't answered that. I think we figured that out from the first point. Shetty going to stick with the Burchuck roaster because that really has been cleaving its way through Min Min. And again, starting that intimidation factor, but actually gets cancelled out. They both hit each other at the same time. Neither got knocked down, and it was Shetty who got the better of the second interaction. So Shetty will start with the lead here, but that could quickly get turned around here if this Power Soul keeps on steamrolling through, and it's going to hit again. It doesn't deal as much damage as you'd think it would do, but it's enough to just send Shetty reeling. And it's enough to also make sure that Yam gets to keep the roaster. No sooner have I said that, the Dragon Arm goes down, and they'll have to find a way of charging it up all over again. A punch at that kind of range means that by the time you get back on your feet, that grab is probably going to connect. Yeah, again, going down towards that hot pocket. It's a dangerous area to be in. Both again going to commit to that rush. This should be a shield break. It is a shield break. 85 damage. Yam just hasn't really been able to do anything with their rushes in this matchup, and is now a punch away from going down. The Power Soul says no. The roaster says, I think I will. And Shetty is going to take that 2 points to 0 in the end. They are into top 3, and they will take on Riffa once again in the winners final. Yeah, commiserations there to Yam. They kept starting with the first point, but Shetty was just able to find a way of coming back each and every single time. Both of those points going 2-1. But and again, the overall score doesn't really reflect that, because the overall score is it's a 2-0 win to Shetty. So you get the general gist of how close these matches have been as of late. So we are now going to ready up for our first best of 5 of the tournament. Winners final, underground final, and the grand final respectively are all best of 5s. So, you know, just ups that ante just that little bit more. Remember that both of these fighters are in the top 3 whatever happens, because if you lose from here, you drop into underground final. If you lose the underground final, you finish 3rd. It's as simple as that. You are in the top 3 at this point. What you're fighting for is essentially a break. You are fighting for the chance to just sit back and relax for a good half an hour, at least, at the very least, and watch as everybody else does battle underground. We have seen these two face off oh so many times before, not just here but in other arms competitions as well. They do like to trade their wins and losses. It does mean that in the underground bracket we have Jan versus Okrim and Iceman versus Yada in the underground quarterfinals. They will be fighting to try and make it into top 4 into the underground semi. And we will update you with the scores when we learn what is going on down there. In the meantime, I think we have our stage, and it is going to be Temple Grounds where we will be starting. Both are eager and ready to go. Shetty is looking to retain their title. Riffa is looking to wrestle it away from them. It's going to be Ribbon Girl versus Ninjara. I don't think any of us are surprised to see that combination come up. So let's see what both of our combatants have learned in the space of 7 days. Both coming in with an ice type arm. Shetty with the Roaster and the Burchuck. Riffa with the Tri-Blast and the Ice Dragon. The Ice Dragon can be a little bit harder to work with against Ribbon Girl, especially when she starts doing her wonderful dancing in mid-air. But while she's on the ground, the Dragon has a decent chance of finding a way onto her, especially since that laser can curve just like any other arm in the game. And obviously the Tri-Blast is always nice because you've got 3 horizontal prongs. One of them may just find their way through, and in fact it's the Rush that finds the hit this time around. 360 onto Shetty, who is now on the cusp of heading into critical condition. In fact, the explosion is going to do exactly that. Almost forced into the corner there, but Shetty will now respond with a rush of their own. Interesting that they decided to use that despite the fact that they are very much in a hard situation to come back from, but they've already got Riffa down past the halfway mark. But if they get hit again by anything else, they are definitely not going to take this point away. A good charged roaster hit straight into Ninja and scores with the grab. Very interesting here that Shetty has indeed managed to turn this back. If they were able to get this, then that rush will turn out to be one heck of an inspired decision. The roaster isn't able to hit because they know it is unguarded as a result. 15 seconds on the clock. All of the pillars are pretty much down. Riffa has rush available, so it's really their call whether they want to go for it. Shetty may just go all in with this and decides to do so. They're not going to find any of it. So with 2 seconds to go, I think that'll do it. And why did Riffa rush? Riffa, why did you rush? There was no point. Riffa had done the hard part and then used the rush. I don't know if that was a miscue or if they intended to do that just to make sure Shetty didn't hit, but both will now have to charge up their rushes all over again. But Riffa will take the initiative. Also going to come in with the slap as well, as Shetty comes in with that Burchuck. But so far, Riffa has the advantage here, has a way of being able to fully slow out Ribbon Girl. No Ice Dragon this time around, so they obviously feel like the slap will help them just a little bit more. And you can see how much more dominant Riffa is at the start of this match, with nothing hindering them and that Dragon no longer slowing them down. They're pretty much going to force the shield break here, and that was quick. That was devastatingly quick. Riffa just coming out with monumental confidence there, and taking that victory so quickly. And we'll start in the lead, 1-0. And Shetty has to take a step back here and figure out where they want to go, because that second point certainly really went away from them there. Like, I feel like the rush might have came out to stop the grab. Like, obviously it has that kind of shockwave thing, but even then, I don't think that grab was going to connect anyway, so it was an odd one. It was an odd one to see the rush used at 0 seconds. It was just such an odd move. But in either case, it's got Riffa a point, so We're going to see Scrapyard and Fire banned once again. And yeah, Shetty's going to go, you know what? That second point doesn't count. We're going to do that again. So Riffer will lead 1-0 as we return to Temple Ground. Both going to come in. Both are going to come in with the same fighter. So I'm going to bring in a slab of their own there, though I see that. Yes, they are. I'm going to bring in the Roaster and the Slap. Riffer, meanwhile, going to go straight back to the Ice Dragon. Obviously, they know what they want to do. They have the dragon up whilst the pillars are up, and the second the pillars were down, they just dropped the dragon. It was no longer an anchor for them, and they just decided to just free up what they were doing and just went in full-on aggressive. So we're going to see if Shetty can learn from that previous match, or if it will go relatively the same way again. We'll soon find out. The Roaster is going to find a connection very early on, and so is that Slap. And that is going to catch Ninja out a little bit more here. Yes, Ninja is able to just move to the side and teleport as long as they get the shield up in time. But if they're still moving and that Slap hits, it's definitely gonna upset any kind of momentum that Ninja was carrying into this match. And that grab is not going to help them in the slightest. Shetty coming out with another rush, but once again, Riffer's got the call on it and is able to avoid all of the damage. 2 pillars down on the left hand side, just those 2 on the right, just behind Shetty, who is able to get out of the way of Riffers and punish as well. So just like the previous match, the first point is very much even. It's hard to tell who is going to take the point on this occasion. The Triblast is going to catch Shetty off guard though. Just start to swing into Riffer's favor, who immediately gets a Roaster hit. The second you feel like you've got a health lead, a charged Roaster could just set you back very quickly. 10 seconds to go already, and Riffer has a decent enough health lead. They've got Rush in hand as well if they so wish to cancel. On the cusp of critical, but Shetty will not be able to do anything from there, and they know that. They immediately backed up, let the timer run out, and Riffer is going to have advantage once again in this match. Shetty, are they going to keep the Slap on that glove? It certainly was working in the early part of that match, but it just started to get away from them towards the end, where Riffer was just getting a lot more bolt hits than I think they could really contend with. Both going to stick with their arm selections, Triblast and Ice Dragon, and again, Shetty is not able to hit a single thing with that rush. So I guess it all comes down to whether or not they can punish Riffer's rush just like they did in the last one and keep it just a little bit more close. The answer is no, they cannot. 310, the bolts stop them dead in the tracks, and that is a Ribbon Girl's pretty much worst nightmare there. The second the bolts come out, if you haven't moved in time, they will hit you, because if you don't go up, you're probably going to get hit whichever side you go to. And Riffer is going to take big time lead in this, already knocking Shetty just towards the half health. Misses the grab from Shetty and falls in with another bolt of their own. Roaster isn't going to find its mark on this occasion, and Riffer has that health lead. Shetty does have Rush charged up, but is already in KO range of another Riffer Rush, who's just looking to secure themselves a second point and lead the set by 2-0. But with 30 seconds to go, you never know. We've seen Shetty pull off some pretty nutty comebacks in their time, so expect another one if Riffer cannot finish this up in time. And with 20 seconds to go, they've still got a good health lead, but they're being forced into this corner more and more. The Dragon is able to stop Ribbon Girl, or at least stall them out for somewhat, and Shetty is going to commit to the rush because they know they had to go for it. But Riffer was just playing the patient game, because Riffer knows exactly that's what to do. And it's going to pick Shetty apart, and it's going to lead the set by 2-0. Only looking for one more win to book their ticket into Grand Final. Just going to have a quick shout out to the chat, because there's a lot of you coming in at the moment. And we got Yoshi in there. Riffer was chatting earlier before their match. We've got Lucim in here. We got Akrim. It's always nice to have you all here. Maliv is just coming in as well. Much love to each and every one of you. You're all amazing people. And look, you know, those of you who stream who are in the chat, you know who you are. You are great at what you do. And if people aren't following you, then they really should be. And wow, okay, so we are going to go for the hat trick. Shetty, determined not to lose on Temple Grounds, is going to go out again. Only this time round, Ribbon Girl has tagged out. In comes Twintel. If it's not Ribbon Girl, it's Twintel. These are the two fighters that Shetty uses the most, it must be said. It's going to come in with Chakram and Roaster. So definitely switching up that agility for our wonderful Actrosaur, that slow motion effect. But Riffa so far is not batting down to, not getting scared of anything, just coming in with their usual setup, the Dragon Triblast. You know, it works and he knows it. And so far, health is relatively same here. Obviously, it is just the start of the match. The pillars are all still up. But again, just being caught out. Even when Shetty goes to the air, Riffa just generally has an answer or a feel for where Shetty's going to go. Finally, Shetty hits a rush. It feels like it's been a while since Shetty managed to get one of those out properly because Riffa has been just on point with the evasions, but not this time around in a straight direct confrontation. Riffa took that, but is going to return with a rush of their own and put Shetty into critical. Riffa with a bit of a health lead, but this one's going a little bit more differently here. Riffa is determined to just see this out, just looking for one more hit with anything, but that Chakram will stun temporarily, which just allowed Shetty to get the knockdown. Pillar finally goes down, and if anything, that pillar played beautifully into Riffa's hands. The pillar went down, and I don't think Shetty was expecting it to crumble as quickly as it did, and the punch that came through after that, well, it just sealed Shetty's fate. Riffa is just looking for one more point, and they will book their ticket into Grand Finals with a 3-0. Shetty is not, almost didn't find the rush this time around, just managed to score 155 and makes up for it with an immediate grab. The second Riffa got up, so very well timed there for Shetty. Absolutely made up for the fact that they did not get the first half of their rush. And look at this punish. This punish is out unbelievable here from Shetty. They've got a gist of what Riffa's going for here, and is just shutting them down on every possible spot here. Riffa's just a punch away from going down, and the Chakram's going to curve straight round into Riffa's jump, and just like that, Shetty has turned that immediately around. Riffa will have rush available and will stick to the Triblast and the Ice Dragon, so they're going to have to come up with a little bit of a different tactic here to counter what Shetty is up to. Two pillars are left on the field, and Shetty is immediately just starting to launch up and has the confidence to go for the rush early, but this time round there will be no damage whatsoever, as Riffa is just about able to get away enough in time and just counters the rest of it, fires in with the Triblast, and now has rush of their own ready and waiting to go. Shetty has to play this very carefully here, because if they get caught by the rush, it might start swinging away from them. And in fact, the laser alone just hits in for 190, and that's already taken the momentum away. Shetty trying to play the aggressive game, but Riffa is having none of it. Immediately got Shetty onto the cusp of critical. Has a pretty big health lead here with 50 seconds to go. And if they can maintain that and not take this rush that Shetty has to the face, they'll be absolutely fine. Shetty is just trying to bait out any kind of mistake from Riffa at this point, knowing full well that 2 more punches and Shetty will likely go down. Heck, if Riffa can get another rush charged up, which they do, they now have a little bit of intimidation of their own on the side, but they're gonna get caught by this rush. 315 damage. Riffa is just looking for one little poke. Shetty's grab did not connect, and in the end, Riffa does not need the rush. The laser is once again gonna pierce through, and reigning champion Shetty is in the underground final. Riffa is gonna win that set 3-0. It's I can't really say it's a clean 3-0 because it was still a pretty hard fought victory, but in some of those points Riffa was not letting any of that happen. So Riffa is into the grand final. They're guaranteed second place, but you know Riffa, they're going to be looking for that first place victory. And Shetty will await in the underground final. Who will they face there? Well, we're going to find out. We have information that we have had another best of 3 finally go the distance in this tournament. And actually, it's a bit of a surprise. Iceman is out of the tournament. Yes, you heard that right. Yada has defeated Iceman 2 points to 1. That must have been a very, very close match, and I'm definitely going to look forward to seeing what Yada does in the Underground semi-final. We are waiting on results between Yam and Okrim. So once we have those, we'll be gearing ourselves up for the Underground semi-final. Hope you have all been enjoying yourselves so far. It has been a lot of fun. And remember that this is indeed the last EU Arms Challenge Cup of this PR season. So once this is done, the PR points are going to get calculated up, and there will be an official top 10 posted. You can find what that top 10 is on the on our Twitter feed. So that is European_Arms. That's on Twitter. And obviously, if you do want to watch any of our matches back throughout all of our tournaments, you've got our YouTube as well down below, EU Arms Competitive. We've also got our Twitch, which obviously if you're watching this here live, it's nice to have you. And we are generally live every Sunday for these tournaments. I say every Sunday. Every fortnightly Sunday. It's just this time round we wanted to make sure that this got in before the season ended. So hence why it got moved forward a week. And obviously, if you do want to join in, our Discord will be in the description below, because obviously you will kind of need access to that to communicate with our fellow tournament organizers, who seriously deserve so much credit, because without them, this just would not run. And obviously, we always thank all the fighters who take part. So if you do want to join in, it would be, well, we would love to have you. It's as simple as that. We would absolutely love to have you. Okay, so in fact we've had another, would you believe it, we've had another best of 3 match go to distance, and that was between Yam and Okrim. That match has ended in Okrim's favor, so Yam is out, and I'm actually surprised to say that, because Yam has been doing so well as of late. They've been pretty consistent, and Okrim has been getting better and better. This is a welcome surprise, and I think it'll do Okrim the world of good to be able to be in a position like this. For those of you who have been missing some of the top 3s as of late, our last top 3 from last week, that top 3 was Sheddy with Yam. So with Yam not being in top 3 here, both of these combatants have an opportunity to book themselves a little bit of history here. So this could be big. This will be big regardless of where you look at it. So, you know, they're no strangers to top 3s. They certainly are no strangers to them. So it really comes down to who's gonna get the better of their respective opponents. And would you believe it, we're going to go straight back to Temple Grounds. We're going straight back to Temple Grounds. Somebody free us from this stage, please. Ah, dear me. Alright, Underground semi-final. It will be Okrim on the left, playing in with Max Brass. So Brass's first appearance on the stream today. And they will be going up against Twintel on the other side. Tribolt Roaster versus Parasol Toaster. And Brass has already got an arm weak on the right hand side, so Brass, that kind of heavy character, we finally get one of them in this match. You see them flinch every now and then, they're not going to go down. They're not going to go down anytime soon. The only way they will do so is with a one of the ways is with a charged up toaster hit. That fire element means that they will just get floored immediately. And you see Yada wanted to try and take advantage of that. Needs to be careful though, because again, that roaster can and will do some serious damage if it is charged up. Weak again on the right hand side for Okrim, and just hiding behind that pillar, trying to let it fade. And a beautiful pick with the tri-bolt. Yada went for the rush, and Okrim had a feeling it was going to go. The bolt hit first before Yada could fire a punch out. Beautifully done, and also gets a big time hug as well. Yada gets floored, not once, but twice, and that one through the pillar, and Akram has turned this around very, very quickly. It's going to be the first one into critical, which means Brass is now going to be that little bit more intimidating. Rush is going to come out, and Yada is forced to immediately backtrack and actually takes a little bit of 50 damage. I thought that grab was in range, but not quite. Both in critical condition, but crucially Akram, I was going to say has advantage, but now Yada might have a little bit more in the bar here. And obviously does have Rush if they want to commit to this. They're just trying to stay away and force Akram to just let their guard down, committed to the rush. And that was what Akram was waiting for, not Akram, what Yada was waiting for. Just being patient, knew that Akram had to go big right there if they wanted to take the point away. And as a result, it's going to be Yada who takes the initiative here. And for Akram, they're going to have to work at this just that little bit harder now. Bolt and Roast is still going to be the call here. The Bolt gets the stun, but I think Akram was just a bit too far away to really be able to capitalize on that. Rush is going to come out, and Akram is going to stand there and just take it. Both arms weak as a result, so if any of those get tagged, you'll see the arm go down immediately. And it's going to rush through the power sword, but Yada is going to move cleanly out the way. Chip damage and nothing more. Arm weak again on that left hand side. Now on the right as well. Akram is just taking a lot of punishment here and finally gets run over. And it's going to get forced into that corner if they're not careful. Twintail is just using this as an excuse to make sure that Brass does not get any opportunity to move into free space. Again, Power Sword is just going to wail on in there. Rush is going to come out. This will force another shield through. Akram try to get a sneaky little punish, but unfortunately Yada is not going to have any of it this time round. Needs a little bit more damage, but Akram knows that with 24 seconds to go, it's an uphill struggle. They'd have to get a lot of big time grabs, and I just don't see it happening here. With 16 seconds to go, Yada has such a health lead that even if a rush lands, it probably won't tip it in Akram's favor, and it most certainly won't from here on out. All Yada do, yeah, and you just see it, Akram just immediately realized, yep, 10 seconds to go, there's nothing I can do to stop this, just hit me, take the point, and let's move on. Yada is going to start with the initiative. It's always a hard one to come back from, but oh my god. Oh, people, please. Oh my gosh, for the 5th time in a row we are going to Temple Grounds. So yeah, Temple Grounds is the call yet again. I hope you are all enjoying yourselves on this EU Arms Temple Ground Cup. We are coming in with our second match of the Underground semi-final, and it is Akram versus Yada. Brass is going to come in with a much different loadout here. Going to come in with the Burchuck and the Nade this time round. So going to upgrade that unguided roaster for an unguided Nade. That will cause the big time explosion if it hits, and already you can see the damage it's doing to Yada. Meanwhile, they're going to come in with a Coolerang and a Toaster, so again, playing to the benefits of this stage. The fact that they can send a curved arm around, and look at that, immediately floors Brass with a charged up Toaster hit. Both of these combatants are playing very aggressively here. Like, they're using the pillars to dance around, but first and foremost, they are playing as up close as you possibly can. And Brass commits to the rush, and it's going to score a big 240 damage, which is what they needed to get themselves right back into this set. Got frozen, but to be fair, that didn't really bother them too much. Yada now the one frozen, has to shake it off. Akram, they wasn't able to punish that, and now they're basically just trading the ice punches here. That Coolerang dipping around. And slowing Brass even slower than usual, and wow, oh wow, that explosion just forced Yada to just immediately disarm that rush. That was unfortunate. Yada was just way too close for it to happen. And now Akram with a rush in hand as well, has a slight health lead with 23 seconds to go. Committed to the grab, didn't hit it. will hit in with 105 on the rush and sends Yada into critical. Gets a freeze. Arm now weak on the left-hand side as Yada is just a poke away from going down. And Okrim cannot afford to lose this with 10 seconds to go. They go into that permabuff state. Yada does have rush if they so wish to go for it, but the nade is going to cancel it. They committed to the rush, but the nade exploded right in front of them, and that AoE damage is literally enough. And Okrim is going to take a point here and keep this set alive. Gularang is going to give them a little bit of a tap, and they'll need to be careful of that. And there we go. I had a feeling that might be the play that Okrim was going for. Just literally allowed Yada to come in for the grab, waited for as long as possible and went, "You fool," and committed to that rush, which hit big time around. But having said that, Yada has all of the advantage right now. Much bigger health lead here. Brass is already in that perma state, so you see these arms are just going to fling in that perma state. It's scary, it's intimidating, but it can be fought through, and Yada will prove to you exactly why. Isn't able to get the final hit that they were looking for, but the Gularang will make sure that it definitely does. So, what is the decision here? Okrim is going to go big or go home. Double nade is the call to Yada's consistent toaster and Gularang. And gosh, if any of those grabs hit, Yada is going to know. But then again, so is the rush. 270 pops Yada into the corner. You see the grabs. Okrim just trying to commit to them every now and then. But now the icicle chain begins. Not going to happen this time around. Managed to get two of them at the very least. But the nade will floor Yada into the corner. Okrim is looking to take this to match number 3 once more. And Gularang is just going to bounce harmlessly off Brass's shield. Just using that pillar to just stall out more than anything. They've got the health lead. Yada is in critical. They may have a rush available, but Okrim is taking this on the chin. Both arms weak here. A very big state, but they're not going to matter because the rush is going to come out. That is going to be a KO. That is a tied set. Alright, my friends, our final best of 3 match, because after this, there are no more best of 3s. Muscle Man is going to take us to match 3. Gosh, this set is anyone's game. It seriously is. Yeah, I mean, we no longer have Yam in top 3. The last time Yada was in the top 3 was the 37th Cup. The last time Okrim was there, oh, you have to go a little bit further back, so it's all to play for, and yep, for the 6th time in a row, we're going straight back. We're going straight back to Temple Grounds. It really is proven to be one of those things. And also, sorry, my correction. Yada last was in top 3 on the 41st Cup, where they finished 2nd. For Okrim, however, oh my, I don't think it. You might have to go even further back for Okrim. In fact, I don't think. No, Okrim has never made top 3 in the Challenge Cup at all. Alright, no, yes they have. They've made it in the 30th. Wow, 14 cups since Okrim has made top 3. They've got it all to play for then as they come out once again with double nade. Will Yada have a response? They're going to stick with the toaster and the Gularang. Everything to play for then. And Okrim will already have rush available. Yada will not be too far behind. And now it really does come down to who wants to blink first. Okrim seems to excel at being up close and personal with Yada, especially if they can get an explosion off going into that rush. Because if that explosion AoE happens just as Yada commits, Yada loses the rush almost immediately, and Okrim, they know that Yada will start to be a bit wiser to that, and the rush is going to come out and does catch Twin Tail. So 290 does send them past the halfway mark, and now it's up to see what Yada's response is going to be. They are going to get caught out once again, and it's on the cusp of critical. They're going to have to do a well-timed series of hits, and maybe a grab or two to try and turn this into their favor. A rush at this point will not get them back. into contention. And Akrim, you just know that they're just waiting. They're just looking for one more punch. That's all they want. With 10 seconds to go, I think Akrim knows that this is very much in the bag. They're going to take the initiative in the point that matters most here. And if Akrim can do this, then boy howdy, we're going to have a little bit of history in this cup right here and now. So I hope we get some hype in the chat if it does, because Yada has it all to play for if they want to top 3 this. But for Akrim, it really is a monumental matchup now. Double nade is still going to be the commitment. Yada is now going to bring in the Parasol to see if they can at least try and wall out at least one of those nades. Or at the very least try and juggle Akrim, but it's not going to happen. The shield is up just in the nick of time, and the nade actually catches on the ankle as well. I don't think Yada was expecting it to actually curve around that quickly. The rush will come out, but it is shielded this time around by Yada. Just chip damage and nothing more. So it's a very even, close match here. Akrim has a slight health lead. There's still a minute in this though. So far, Akrim's shields are on point. They've been learning throughout this set, never mind the tournament, and they are having an absolute showcase here. But now Yada is finally starting to pick up these hits, trying to get Brass into the corner, trying to wall them out. A good successful rush could definitely swing it here, and it has done exactly that. 345 will send Akrim into critical condition. Gonna immediately hit back with a nade. It is not scared at all, and obviously Brass in this permacharged state is just gonna keep walling in. But Yada scores with the toaster. They are just looking for one more hit, and there it is. So it really is gonna come down all the way to the final point. What will Akrim's decision be? Gonna stick with the double nade. Yada has an answer for this now. The Parasol and the toaster. Akrim with rush already available. Yada isn't too far behind, but still has a little bit more to go. They just have to keep dodging these and hope that the toaster can at least keep picking these hits. If they can send Brass down as much as possible, they'll have an advantage. Arm weak though on that right hand side. Rush is going to come out and Twintel will get caught by it. 310 damage. Akrim gets themselves back into the match. They'll take the poke from the Parasol for the time being, but they do not want to be caught. That explosion was just a little too far off. I thought that might have been a little bit closer, but not on this occasion. Akrim is once again caught in that corner, but this time round they get out. Catches Twintel in midair. 50 seconds on the clock to go, and the explosion, you can see Yada trying desperately to just dash away from them the second they hit. As long as the nades hit charged, they will explode. Akrim on the cusp of critical condition. If they could take a little bit of shield damage, they'll take it, because that'll poke them right into the state that Twintel does not want them to be in. Shield are gonna get up and cancel out that rush. Both arms weak on the other side of Yada. Rush is gonna come out. This is gonna get blocked by Akrim, who knows full well that they've got it all to do. Any kind of blow will hit it for them, and there it is. And Yada's patience pays off. Akrim is not going to make it into top 3. Not on this occasion. That wait goes on. And Yada is going to book themselves a ticket back into top 3 to take on Rifa in the Underground final. Commiserations for Akrim, but they get in there. They're getting better and better and better. But that wait for the top 3 goes on, and it's unfortunate to see that happen, but 4th is still not a bad finish in this tournament, so commiserations, but also well played to Yam. So, Yada is going to break hearts once again, and books themselves a ticket into the Underground final. There, they will face against Rifa, and from here on in, it is best of 5s all the way. I hope you're all sitting comfortably. It promises to be a fun couple of matches. Of that there is no doubt. Oh, sorry, my bad. It is against... my bad, it's against Shetty, not Rifa. It's because last week it was Rifa. It was just like, wait, hold on, yeah, never mind, sorry. It happens every now and then. Every now and then I will get a name wrong. It hasn't happened for a while, but it had to happen today. Sorry, Riffa awaits the winner of this match between Yada and Shetty. Please, for the love of everything, take us anywhere but Temple Ground. I do not want to see that stage for the 7th time in a row, please. Please, Shetty, don't do it. Shetty's got the whole world in their hands. They run the whole wide world in their hands. Please don't pick Temple Grounds. I want to see anything but Temple Grounds right now. This is turning into that Snake Park episode of Scrap Star. Oh, it's Buster Beach. Okay, thank goodness the streak is over. Ah, the streak is over. We are going to Buster Beach. That was amusing. Alright, Yada will be on the left of the screen. Shetty will be on the right of the screen. Shetty, remember, is the current cup holder. They are looking to retain their title, but they're going to have to fight through the underground final if they so wish to do so. Yada is going to be coming in with Springman, coming in with the Chiller and the Tri-Blast. First time we've seen Springman in the stream today. And obviously Shetty coming in with Twintel, who we've seen them use so many times before. Coming in with Shakram and the Roaster. And took them a little while to get going there, but finally starting to wall off Springman and get a couple of Roaster hits in. But those blasts are going to stall them quite a little bit again. With Ribbon Girl's ability, trying to just hop around, be that kind of annoyance, you go for those side steps, just trying to activate the Actrosaurus. So the blasts, the bolts are definitely going to help out with that. And you see, managed to get some form of a rush onto Shetty there, and it has a bit of a health lead. But if Shetty can just pocket this Springman, keep them down here, they could go in for a rush and just completely rinse back through that health. But Yada is gonna be a bit savvy to that. Actually gets the no U card out. And now it's Shetty's turn to have to fight back up from there. Both back onto the main platform now, but it's Shetty who is in critical condition. Yada who is going to start with the initiative by the looks of things, especially since they've got the rush back up to charge. So it's really their call on whether or not they're going to just let Shetty just wall out this rush. They tried to commit to it, catches with the 30, but that's all they're going to get from that. They force Yada into the pocket again, but Yada has an answer for this. They keep coming in with another bolt every now and then. The explosion is finally going to connect. And Twintel is going to go down. And Yada starts off with a point here. Now this is going to be a very interesting situation here, where Shetty is now going to come in with the Tri-Bolt. So both coming in with a Tri, both coming in with a glove. Yada's coming in with that chilled still. Shetty obviously still sticking to our unguided goodness. Also going to get blocked out this time around, but again is going to get caught by a little bit of knockback. Yada knows that that's a good opportunity to do so, forces Twintel into that pocket. Shetty's not having any of that, immediately turns it around, but they have such a health deficit here. Everything that Springman is throwing to the table here, Shetty doesn't really seem to have an answer for. Finally gets a rush of their own, forces Springman into that pocket as well. 245 damage, but again, that blast is going to immediately wall Shetty out. And Yada is dashing around Twintel quite happily here. Manages to avoid yet another grab. I think it's more annoyance on Shetty's part than anything right now. Yada is landing some amazing hits. And with 40 seconds to go, they've got advantage. They now have a rush. They're on the cusp of critical, but they don't need to worry about that at all. Because Twintel was way too close. Yada went, you know what? I'm going to try grab. And that grab was all they needed. They were way too close. And well, how about this for a start? Yada leads with a 2-0 victory over Shetty, and the set is in their favor. Well, now this would be a turn up for the Bucks if Yada was able to knock out Shetty down here. So you never know. Anything can happen. If Riffa can beat Shetty 3-0 in winners final, if if Yada does the same down here, that really would be quite the story. And yep. So I see we've had 6 What's New Pussycats and 1 It's Not Unusual, and now we've gone back to What's New Pussycat because we are going back to Temple Grounds. And on top of which, Yada is switching characters, so Springman is gonna be put away to the side for the time being, and we are going to see the return of Bite and Bark. And Sheddy will also be switching as well, switching from Twintail to Ribbon Girl. So definitely a different strategy in mind for both participants here. Yada's going to come in with the Thunderbird, which naturally matches Bite and Bark's colour scheme, and the Parasol. Meanwhile, Sheddy is going to come in with that Roaster again, but he's now going to come in with the Slaps. And already you see Bark straight away down. And they're both just in different positions, trying to figure out what each other's strategy is going to be coming into this. Roaster is going to floor Bark, but Bite's not intimidated by the speed that Ribbon Girl is bringing to the table, although that grab is going to send them into the corner. Bark obviously can throw out that toaster every now and then, but so far Ribbon is not being caught by that. They're better than that. Every single time they get a chance to do so, they immediately knock Bark down, and Yada is unfortunately going to take all of that 370, make that 390 for the poke on the way down. Parasol is going to hit on through, and the slap is going to hit. Sheddy gets blown away as well by the trade-off, but they're not going to worry too much about it. They had a big health lead as it was, and it's already going to start with the initiative. We'll stick with this loadout. Yada, meanwhile, is going to ditch the Thunderbird. Gonna bring in that Sparky instead, just wants to try and hit at least some kind of rhythm going against this Ribbon Girl, but so far the speed and the agility is just too much for Bite and Bark to handle. Bite very much relies on Bark for a lot of things. Is finally going to commit to the rush, and it's going to score 310, sends Sheddy down and gives Yada some kind of breathing space, but you see how quickly Sheddy immediately closes the gap, immediately gets that aggressive card, and is trying to just silence Yada as much as possible. Having said that, they were a bit too aggressive there. Arm went down, and Yada tried to get a punish. And the toaster from Bark does finally do a little bit of an annoyance poke. Yada at the halfway mark on their rush, but if they can stall out Sheddy here just a little bit more. Oh, just about got the read. I thought they were just going to miss out on that hit, but gets not 1, but 2 back-to-back charged Parasol hits, which sends Sheddy flying, and yet now has rush available. They can either hold on to this or try and hope for a bit of a punish on Sheddy's part. Sheddy surely does not want to have this go to a second point, and here comes the rush, and that should do it. That is the KO. And Sheddy is going to take that back 2-0. It's going to be 1 apiece in this set. And Sheddy is not relinquishing that cup anytime soon. And so with that, we're going to see what our bands from Sheddy are going to be on. What stage we are going to see here. I think Mausoleum and Via are going to be the ones banned. We have not seen any of the 2 Canopic stages, nor have we seen any of Sparring Ring yet. And we are going to go straight back to Buster Beach, so there's a bit of a rhythm going on here, as you could probably see. One player favours one stage, one player favours the other, so if Yada wins this, you can probably tell that Sheddy will likely pick Temple Grounds to take us back to. Sheddy will stick with Ribbon Girl. Yada is going to switch for the 3rd time in a row here. We are now going to see Min Min coming out, and that is an interesting loadout I see on that Min Min. I see a Biffler on there. And we're going to see the Biffler in action along with that Megawatt. Now the Biffler, very much like the Hydra, those 3 vertical prongs, they will be a little bit more of, they will be just as much of an annoyance against Ribbon Girl as the Hydra, but instead of roasting through your opponent, the Biffler's just going to you know, it's going to put everyone's favorite arms mascot right onto your face in 3 different places. And Sheddy is going to just punish that overuse of the shield on Yada's side of things. He's immediately going to throw them straight into the corner, and another quick time grab, and Well, Shetty is no longer playing around, no longer in a mood. They're in the mood to be messed with. And this slap is just, it just keeps catching Yada. And that's the unfortunateness of bringing an arm like the Megawatt. It is one of the heaviest arms in the game. It's one of the slowest arms in the game. Yes, it does do a good amount of damage, and the shock is always nice. But at the same time, it's quite hard to hit with, especially with a character like Ribbon Girl, and especially with an arm like the slaps. And Shetty is going to come back with one rush of their own, having taken Yada's. They're going to get a quick grab, however. I'm going to give Shetty the time to breathe. They're going to start playing that a little bit more aggressively here by the looks of it. It has the Megawatt charged up on the Dragon Arm, just in case you thought it wasn't big enough already. But so far, Ribbon is able to get around that on every most of the attempts so far. And you can see that Yada is trying to lead with that Chiller first before they fling in the Watt. Just on the basis of they want a punch to come through first before committing to the Watt. They're going to lose that Dragon Arm because Shetty's going to knock them down with the slaps. Rush is going to come out. The Chiller is going to land. And you see the Watt just immediately start tumbling towards Shetty. And this is going to send them into critical. And Yada has found their mark here. But unfortunately, the Watt went out. And it's quite... because it's so slow, it takes quite a while for it to come back. So, boy howdy, both in critical condition. Both are a poke away from going down here. And you're just waiting to see who it's going to go to. Shetty, if Shetty will win via timeout on the basis of having just a little bit more health. But there is the Chiller. The Chiller managed to get through. You saw the slaps going out. Shetty was just trying to look for that slap around the Watt. But it's Yada who's going to come out with the better off that. And the Roaster was just within range. And Yada is not going to get a charge up on that Watt. Shetty is going to stick with the slaps and the Roaster, and is going to fall foul to a 305 rush from Yada's side of things. And that Dragon Arm is going to be up the Watt, just about missing Ribbon Girl. And that's why you have to be so curved with that, but that is what it can do. Big time damage, in with the shock. Shetty was just too close to be able to get away from it in time. That's why you have to be very careful playing the aggressive game against the Watt. The rush is going to come out, and again, Yada had already committed to it. 320 damage. The grab does not get any additional pokage, so no additional 20 on top of that. Yada maintains the health lead, and another good Chiller hit right in midair is going to catch Shetty off guard. Yes, Yada might be on this bottom platform and being run around in circles, but crucially they got the Megawatt hit, and they're going to rush in. Can they break shield with that? No, they won't. They're just going to let Shetty get away with it, and immediately double connects. And Yada retakes the lead of this set. 2 points to 1. What can I say? They made the Megawatt work. So what do you reckon? Straight back to Temple Grounds? Because I think that's probably where we're going to go. Scrapyard and DNA Lab have been banned, so you probably know that Shetty will pick Temple because that's where they won last time. And yep, that is indeed going to be the case. Oh my. Okay, so Yada, for the 4th match in a row, is going to switch character. Yada's coming out with, wait for it, Ribbon Girl. Could this be our first ditto of the stream? Yes, it is. It is Ribbon Girl versus Ribbon Girl. And what about the loadout? Well, the loadout, at the very least, is very different. So Yada is going to come out with a Toaster and a Popper. Shetty is going to come out with the Roaster and a Bird Truck. So both coming in with a glove, but very different second arm. Popper is one of the quicker arms in the game. And obviously, if it hits, it does its wonderful windy goodness, just like the slaps that we've been seeing Shetty use. But it's going to get punched through by pretty much everything else. So it's why you have to be very careful with this. They're hoping that the Toaster is going to complement it in the way that it can generally do. If they hit, it just runs straight through Ribbon Girl. But it's going to be that little bit harder to try and hit. But so far, Shetty is still playing that aggressive game. And if the Popper can at least connect, at least from this kind of close range, it immediately sends Shetty back. And it gives Yada time to figure out where Shetty is going to go next. But just I hope you like a lot of double jumps because they're both going to commit to it. And despite having the faster of the arms, Yada is not able to get the rush on that one because everything just punched straight through it. And Yada is going to find themselves in critical condition. Just misses on the grab, trying to get some kind of a punish and get back into this stage. But this is Shetty's pick for a reason. Gets a punch, but isn't able to be quick enough for the grab. Again, he's going to get sent into the corner. Yes, Yada is a punch away from going down, but they're making this as hard for Shetty as possible. In actual fact, they're starting to get a little bit more momentum here, and Shetty needs to stop this as soon as possible. Does have rush available, and as we come towards the last 10 seconds, it's certainly not out of contention here for Yada yet. I don't think they'll get the rush charged up in time, but they're certainly putting a lot of pressure on here. They get the grab on Shetty. I think they're just looking for one more punch, but they can't get it in time. That ended up being way closer for Shetty than they would have liked to. Both will start with a rush on their side of things, but Yada has came into this one with a lot more momentum than I think Shetty was expecting. Is committed to sticking with the toaster and the popper. Shetty, meanwhile, will stick with the roast and Burchuck straight in with that rush. Is not messing around. 330 damage as close as possible. They know they have to play this kind of game, and that is going to be a whiff, unfortunately. And in fact, Yada was not expecting Shetty to come in with a grab like that either, and that is just, well, Shetty now looking for that perfect, but thankfully Yada is going to score with one toast charged and then one charged popper. So, once again, despite taking that rush, still not out of this match yet, but now on the cusp of critical. Shetty with a health lead, but it's every single time they're getting back up, they're running straight into one of those charged up popper shots, and it's sending them that further back. Yes, it might be more annoyance to Shetty at this point in time, but every single hit is starting to tip them right back into Yada's favor here. And Yada knows, well, it's still everything to play for here. They've both got rush available. Yada will commit, but Shetty will get KO with that. Again, the heavier arms are just dishing out that bit more damage. And Shetty is going to tie up this set, so our underground final is going to be all the way to the 5th match. So, after a breeze through, a 3-0 winners final, we are definitely going to see a 3-2 finish. But who is gonna finish with the favor here? So Shetty's gonna have to ban 2 more stages. Now, crucially, this is Yada's stage pick. So what this essentially means is that Yada was going to take us to the stage that they prefer to fight on the most, which, knowing Yada, will probably be Buster. Or not. Wow, okay, so a massive change of pace here, and they're going to see if they can catch Shetty out with this. So Yada is going to go ahead and pick Mausoleum. So we're going to get a very different sense of how this is going to go. And obviously, because Yada isn't the one who won, they don't have to announce what character they're going to switch to. And Shetty's just trying to force it out. Shetty's just trying to force Yada to reveal what they're going to switch to now. So it's like, naughty naughty, that's not how this goes. But this is interesting. So far, Yada has came out with 4 different characters, and you can see how much of a struggle it has been. That Ribbon Girl Ditto, Shetty was having to be very careful of that. Towards the end of that first point, it could have still gone to Yada anyway. We are gonna see another Ribbon Girl Ditto, and this time it's gonna be on a much more open stage. There's nothing to hide around, there's no pillars, so Shetty will have to commit to this aggressive play, and Yada is committing to the Toaster Popper. Now, I wonder if that's because of the fact it is significantly more open here, and they think that they can catch Shetty out with a few more of these than possible, and already starts off with a charged up Popper, so Shetty's going to have to do this with full-on raw fighting and nothing but slaps, and Roaster is going to be their picks. So both are bringing a windy kind of element into their zone here. The Roaster is going to come in with that bit more damage than the Toaster does, so Shetty is going to hope that they can land more of those consistently than Yada can. But so far, Yada has the initiative. They've already got Shetty pretty much down to halfway mark. Breaks the arm on the left-hand side. and that does send Shady down to half. And so far, the unguided roaster is not playing well with Shady at all. They've gotten one hit on it so far. Everything else has whiffed. Yada is putting on some amazing pressure against the current cup holder and gets on a monumental great stop on that rush. Shady is in critical and it's practically a punch away from going down already, and Yada is at a stage where they can keep this rush. Yada could come in with the upset, with a massive upset right here and now if they can knock out the current champion out of this match. Round 2, Yada will start with rush already available. The toaster and popper is gonna be the pick for Yada yet again. Shady coming in with that Burchuck and the roaster, but it's gonna get caught with another grab. So far the switch has not been working. The shield is up, shield almost breaking, and in fact Shady got so scared they dropped the shield and it took 100 damage anyway. The arm is still weak on the left hand side. It slowly fades away and now it goes to Yada. Arm weak on the right hand side. They are looking to put Shady under a gratuitous amount of pressure, but Shady is not going to back down anytime soon. Finally scores with a rush of their own, just forcing the initiative. They're being as close to Yada as physically possible. All they can do is dodge and hope and get a hit in with that roaster, which is exactly what they do because that's what it's designed to do. It's designed to be one of the quicker arms in the game. Shady is on the cusp of critical here as we enter 43 seconds to go. They're both taking their time charging up. Shady missed with the grab, but Yada could not take advantage of it. The popper finally hits and pokes Shady into critical. 2 more punches is going to seal Shady's fate and is going to completely turn the grand final on its head. Yada has rush. 23 seconds to go. They have command. They have lead. They're looking for one final mistake from the current champion, and there it is! The grab KOs! The champion is out! Yada has made it to grand final by knocking Shady out in an amazing 3-2 best of 5 set. What a match! What a set! What a game! Yada last finished second in the 41st cup, so 3 cups back. But the last time Yada won this tournament, well, you have to go back to the 33rd entry, 11 cups ago. Yada now has a chance to really write their name in the history books. They have a chance to potentially win another Challenge Cup. But to do that, they've got to take on the biggest threat of them all. The person who made it all the way to the grand final by beating Shady 3-0 in the winners final. And that is Riffa. And to put the pressure on Yada just that little bit more, if they want to win this, they've got to beat Riffa in not just 1 set, but 2 sets, because in the grand final the double elimination rules still apply. Yada came in from the underground bracket, which means they've already lost one of their lives essentially. Riffa meanwhile has gotten into this without losing any set. So if Riffa loses here, we do it all again. It's as simple as that. I hope you're sitting comfortably, because this promises to be a quite spectacular set, and believe it or not, all 5 starter stages will now finally be on show in today's tournament, because we will be starting on Sparring Ring. What a way to start, and it's gonna be Twintel on Yada's side on the left side of the screen, Riffa on the right coming in with Helix, Parasol, no, Toaster, Coolerang is the option for Yada. Coolerang, Lockjaw is the action for Helix. And it's immediately going to get started with a little bit of a poke. Now the lockjaw, much more of a projectile arm, kind of like the laser, but unlike the laser, it will also follow out with the punch after it fires off that little mini fireball. And Helix is just one of those wonderful characters. Can be as long or as small as you want. You can see them just being as fluid as possible. But Yada's going to have to be very patient if they want to get these hits in. And obviously Sparring Ring, the most straightforward stage of them all. You've got the corners and you've got nowhere to hide. It's just a straight up fight. And so far, an even fight so far. Both on the kind of same health levels. And both with Rush also available, so it's really just seeing who is going to blink first. And in fact, it's going to be the Boomerang of Riffa. They got an initial hit with the Rush, but wasn't able to fire in anything else. But it's enough to send Yada into critical condition. Just one more poke is all Riffa is looking for. And they will take the first point in this matchup. And the Boomerang is just unfortunately causing more problems for Twintel than I think Yada expected. The Lockjaw is definitely firing out, but so far Yada has been able to avoid quite a lot of it. Like I said, it's just the Boomerang that's been hindering them so far. And that poke is going to finally come in to a KO. And Riffa is just looking to try and just establish dominance early on in this grand final. Already, like I said, Riffa almost got the Rush straight up charged again. Yada with that Power Soul Toaster is just trying to find a way through here. Find a way through all of this wall. Does actually initiate the Rush and scores with 355. You saw that Helix had already committed to the Lockjaw punch, and obviously it takes quite a while for that to come back. So Riffa really was in no man's land. Rush is going to come out, but only this time around Yada is going to find a way through it. And actually doesn't get knocked down with the initial punch out that Riffa came out with. So Yada's definitely keeping their feet firmly on the ground this time around. Power Soul can act as quite a bit of a wall. It is quite quick once it throws out there, but as you see, Yada just trying to find a way through. Obviously, knowing the fact that the Boomerang is going to take a while to get to them once it curves around, so they have to hope that their hits land first. Otherwise, that Boomerang is going to absolutely cancel them out, as you saw them do. They're maintaining somewhat of a health lead here. Both with Rush once again ready to go. And with 30 seconds on the clock, Yada is going to blink and come in with the Rush. They finally do hit. I thought they'd initially missed it at first, but 275 is what they needed. And Riffa find themselves in critical condition. Even if they hit the Rush here, they'd have to land a couple more solid hits if they want to try and just flat out win this by 2 points to 0. They might be able to do so now if this Rush hits, but it does not. Yada is able to block through it, and in fact gets a grab as well, and that will run out the time. Riffa lived on literally 1 HP, but as far as Yada is concerned, it was enough damage to make absolutely sure that they maintain, and they go into this with 1 point apiece. If anything, Yada comes in with a bit of advantage as well. Riffa's going to come in with a popper, which we saw Yada use to great effect in the previous set, so let's see how Yada fares against the very weapon. And so far, not so bad. Yada's going to get another good old poke with that toaster, and now going to come in with the Rush, and that will hit. That will send Riffa straight into the corner and 285 damage, and suddenly this is turning on its head. Yada is becoming that little bit more confident. They'll take the poke from the Lockjaw. They have quite a bit of a health lead here, and Riffa has Rush available. They're trying to force Yada into a double commitment so they can punish with at least a Rush or a grab. But so far they keep getting these pokes that send them into critical condition. The Rush is going to come out now, but Yada is going to get the shield up in time. Wasn't able to get the punish this time around though. Riffa wisely dodging out of it, knowing full well that their use of that Rush was not going to happen. And now stuck in that corner with 30 seconds to go. They're being that lean-in tower that we've seen Helix do oh so many times. The Rush is going to connect, and Helix, you saw, try to duck down at the last possible second. But it doesn't matter where you go, that Rush will land, and Yada is going to start with the point. Oh, what a turnaround this could be. And Temple Grounds is going to be the pick. Surprise, surprise. I feel like at this point in time, Yada is probably used to fighting on Temple Grounds, having had to go back and forth with this throughout the past couple of sets. So the more you see Yada fight on Temple Grounds, you feel like the more Yada has an idea of what to throw on the table. We're going to see another character switch for Yada. They are going to switch to our wonderful Bite and Bark yet again. And in fact, there's going to be a switch for River as well. We're going to see Master Mummy make an appearance. So, yeah, not just Max Brass on the heavy side of things. This time we get the Mummy involved. Mummy's going to come in with a Retorture, but is immediately going to get told off by Bite and Bark with a big-time police hug. So, like I was trying to say, Retorture and the buff for River. So, going to go for just a straight-up normal Big Glove. And instead of the electric revolver, which we normally see when this kind of arm comes out, it's instead the Retorture. So again, as long as one of those prongs will hit, Bite and Bark is going to just hit the deck immediately, as you can see. And Yada's answer, the Thunderbird and the Power Soul, it's not working out for them at the moment, especially losing the use of that right arm. But that's what the Thunderbird can do most. If it can just fly around and just shock, well, you certainly know about it, and Master Mummy has a big enough hitbox as it is. That's a lot more areas to get that shock with. And obviously the Power Soul is just going to send that Mummy soaring through the air. River might have Rush available in this, as you can see, using Master Mummy's ability, where if they hold up the shield for a set amount of time, they will start healing 10 health every tick. So you just see it just count up there. And sometimes that can literally mean the difference, especially when you get into overtime. It's just like Master Mummy might just eke out the win just because of those additional little health ticks. But Yada just on the cusp of critical, but River not far away either. And with 13 seconds to go, you can see exactly this is what River is planning on playing at. Both will commit to a rush, but River is going to get caught out instead. River tried to go for a counter, and all Yada needs to do is, well, not get grabbed. Because getting grabbed or hit by Master Mummy is gonna cause them to lose the point. Oh no! All Yada had to do was back up. But unfortunately they committed to the attack. They thought being in the air would at least stop that for them. But not on this occasion. And now River is gonna come out with a dragon for that Master Mummy. And is immediately shutting Yada down at every possible scenario. Buff is going to come through, and again, Master Mummy can't really go down via your usual normal means because of that lack of flint. They just go straight through it. They're going to heal up a little bit more as a result. Finally gets connected by that Power Soul, which is what Yada was looking for, and immediately sends Mummy down. Rush is going to come out and punches through, and that laser from the dragon is going to do a lot more damage than its icy counterpart, and so too does that grab. A monumental slam dunk from the Mummy, scores a 200 grab, and that is going to be one apiece, my friends. So River immediately coming straight out with a win. Bite and Bark was not able to do it against River's Master Mummy, and that was just straight up power from that Mummy, and especially towards the end where it could have seriously gone either way at the end of the first point, but that second point definitely felt like it was just all River. They were controlling that to no prevail, and River is going to switch, and I think it. Wait, am I seeing that right? Yeah, no, I am seeing that right. So yeah, River is indeed going to switch. I think Yada is going to as well, and this match is going to be fought on Mausoleum. This is our third point in our best of 5. And it's going to be Kid Cobra for Yada versus Min Min. And I see those Scullies, and we're going to see one of the lighter arms in the game. And what is this setup for both of them here? Yada's coming in with double Scorpio on this Kid Cobra. And you can see how big those arms are already, and that is going to be some serious poisonous damage. But River has some poison of their own, going to perma charge the Scully on their Dragon Arm. The Scully, one of the lighter arms in the game, also incredibly quick, much like the Popper. And it deals that bit of poison stack. Again, can get punched through if these Scorpions hit it though. And that's why you see Riffa coming in with one of the more heavier arms, the Megaton. And Yada just trying to just jump around. It's not going to take initial damage, but finally does from 120. I don't think the Ton actually hit Yada there. I think it was just the Scully that did the damage. And Yada has a bit of poison stack on them that will stutter Kid Cobra, which they will not like at all. They want to be consistently moving freely. And already they're taking too much damage to really keep on track of. Finally gets an arm down, and the Scorpions will now leave their mark. 360 means that there is now a second stack of poison. Remember, it does go up to 3, and much like Kid Cobra, Min Min will not like that whatsoever. Loses the Dragon Arm on that Skull. You can see that Scorpion just nuzzling away. Just wants to have a little bit of a taste of our Ramin Bomber. Oh, now it's the arm down on the left-hand side, but Yada got it up just in the nick of time and avoids the Megaton coming towards them. Not avoiding that one, though. Does finally score with another one of the discs. Riffa, a little fortunate there, lost the arm on the left-hand side. You saw it there as the Scully went down, but the Megaton had just gone out in time and punched straight through, and Yada was only going to take that, and straight down they went. Going to commit to the double Scorpio attack, and you know what? They commit to it big time. 400 damage with a poison stack of 3. That is the max stack. That was unbelievable. Riffa came out with the rush in response, but couldn't hit any of it. The stack is at least gone, but Yada came in swinging there. I don't think Riffa was expecting that. Trampoline is up and out, and Kid Cobra is immediately going to start bouncing on that. Finally does get pipped out of the sky, but Yada is absolutely fine jumping in on this. They get hit again, but they've got such a health lead, they won't mind it too much. They hit again onto Riffa, leaving another bit of points stack, and again, much like how with Master Mummy's healing ability, every little bit of chip damage that that poison is doing could seriously play could seriously play a vital role if it goes to timeout. Yada is losing momentum here and needs to be very careful. They're just looking for one more hit on Riffa to be able to take this to yet again another point. And Riffa knows this very well. They've also got Yada on the cusp here. If they did want to commit to a rush, now would be a good time to do it. But it's not going to come out. The Ton was just too far away. And Yada circles around that. It's one apiece here once again. And they're both going to stick with the same arms here. Oh, Yada, that was a choice. That was a choice and a half. Yada went for the grab, tried to bait out a rush from Riffa. Riffa came out with the rush, then thought, I can counter this. You can't. You can't counter that Ton. It's just too much. It will hit you before you get a chance. And Yada is going to lose all of that health as a result and is already into critical. And Riffa knows that this is very much their fight to lose here. Yes, the Scorpions can circle around, but Riffa has all of the right responses. But crucially for Yada, they do get a little bit of a sting in the tail. That Scorpion does stop the rush from happening. And it means that they might still have a chance if they can hit another big time rush, which Riffa hasn't really been able to block so far. Yeah, just sticking on that trampoline, and actually Riffa is starting to lose this a little bit now. Past half health here. Yada has a rush available, and where is this coming from? Where is this came from? Yada, my word, that was amazing. And Yada retakes the lead. Double Scorpion Kid Cobra. I think Riffa thought they had such a health lead, they were gonna get that whatever happened. But Yada scoring with just some amazingly consistent hits. And the rush KOs. And just like that, Yada has an advantage here. We're going to go to Buster Beach. Riffa is going to come in with a game plan. Is Yada going to switch character? That is going to be the question and a half here. Will Yada decide to switch character again? Because they have to announce it. They do. Yada is going to switch, and we're going to see Springman coming in here. So I guess crucially then, will Riffa switch? Because we've been seeing the pair of them been switching back and forth in this set so far. So we're going to go to Buster Beach, which is Riffer's pick. Riffer's going to come in with a Lollipop. And Yada's going to come in with Springman, like we said. The arm loadouts are going to be pretty different, I'd imagine. We're going to see that Lockjaw again on Riffer's side. That's going to be accompanied with a Sparky and a Ram. And it's going to be the Sparky and Lockjaw that starts us off. Yada, meanwhile, coming in with the Shack Ram. And unfortunately, they're going to get sparked immediately by Riffer. So all they can do is just hobble in place and wait for the grab to happen. So yeah, Shack Ram and Chiller is going to be Yada's pick. So the Ram is probably going to get around the Lockjaw if it can. And obviously, even if it's not charged up, the Lockjaw will still do a pretty decent amount of damage. Both are coming in with a respective stall glove. Sparky looking to get the shocks and those grabs. And obviously, Yada is trying to go for the punishes with the chills. But so far, Lola is having none of it. And they just find themselves in the bottom area, which is not quite where they want to be. But Lola won't mind that so much. Their inflatable ability means they can just inflate up, waddle around with shield still up. And they can also bounce and activate that in the air as well. So Riffer's got some form of a protection against this Ram if it comes up, but Yada is finally going to score with a grab. Much like with Max Brass, if they dip underneath critical, they will just get these little perma buffs going up. The Shack Ram does hit, which allows the Chiller to finally come through. Wasn't able to get the grab, unfortunately, but the Chiller will have to do. Arm weak on the left-hand side as we enter 25 seconds to go. And again, got another decent hit in against Riffer with that chill. Just stopped the Sparky and managed to avoid the Lockjaw in time. And again, Yada not going quietly. Every single time we see Yada go into critical, they never stop. They're still consistently going. Riffer starting to head towards critical themselves, but finally gets the hit that they were looking for to take the initiative and hopefully aim to tie this set up to a piece. Yada is going to bring that Shack Ram back in and the Chiller once again. Riffer's going to bring in that Ram again, but this time they're going to switch the Lockjaw. Oh no! That's not going to happen this time for Yada. They got the hit, but unfortunately Riffer was already on the floor by the time it hit. And now they're going to taste 285 from Riffer's side of things. But crucially, pips Lola out of the air, so doesn't leave them in a bad state. Shield, oh, just about gotten away with that. The arm went down the left. It's still weakened on that left-hand side, would you believe it? But they had the wherewithal to get the punch out to stop the Sparky and got the arm back before the Shack Ram could return. And this is still a very much even field here, despite the initial advantage that Riffer took. So it's still everyone's game here. But Yada is not going quietly into the night. Gets pipped, unfortunately, by the Sparky midair yet again. And it's Riffer who has rush available. But Yada is not going to fall foul to it this time round. Shield damage and nothing else from there. Arm weak again though on that left-hand side. Yada has been under a consistent amount of pressure down there. And this is going to be a rush straight in there. 350 tips Riffer into critical. Look how aggressive Springman is playing here. Not allowing Lollipop to get any kind of breathing space there. I think they were half expecting Riffer to immediately bounce back with a punch of their own on the second attempt, but they actually didn't. 10 seconds to go. And Yada knows they have lead. They just don't need to take damage at this point. Any kind of damage would swing it away from them. I think they might still have a health lead here. I'm not sure. It's a draw! It's a draw! Alright, my friends, we're going to replay that point. That didn't count. It is a draw in the grand final. So round number 3 here, Riffer still has the advantage then with the rush already available. And Yada isn't too far away either. I think they're both going to stick. No, they're not. It's going to be the Lockjaw this time for Riffer, who's going to score with a big 420 damage. Oh my word, you really just don't know what will happen in this set. Riffer finally takes a little bit of damage and actually going to bounce right down into a grab from Yada's side of things. And that is not where you want to be. The Rams are doing exactly what they need to, and it's going to be a rush this time from Yada, who is not going to hit anything on Riffer. It's just going to be the chip damage once again. I think that Lockjaw very much compromised them as they committed to the rush. And this is still anyone's game here. Yada finally dipping past the halfway mark, so Riffer does have a slight health lead, forcing Springman into that hot pocket, which is where you just do not want to be. And Riffer with rush available as well, meaning that the advantage is very much on their side of field. But now They're just switching around, they're adjusting for position. The Chiller does finally hit. Not charged though, but Rifa will not want to take too many more of those. Haven't seen how that last match went out. And you just feel like there it is. You were just waiting for it. Yada committed to the grab, and unfortunately Rifa is going to get a massive amount of damage on there. Big time punish. Yada is now just one punch away. Actually got and had to rush there. They had to rush there over it was over. Rifa, however, is going to keep a massive amount of health lead, and with 8 seconds to go, you feel like that's it, and there it is. And boy howdy, that point might say that Rifa won that 2 points to 0, but that doesn't tell you the story, because they had to go through a draw to take that second point, and this grand final set is now 2 points apiece. Crucially, it is Yada who will get to pick what stage we end this grand final on. My word. If nobody clipped the draw segment, we're gonna have words, because it's been a while. It's been a very long time since we've seen a draw in competitive arms, let alone in a grand final. So if that hasn't been clipped, get that clipped right now. So we are going back to Buster Beach again. Crucially, Rifa is going to be changing up character as well. Rifa is looking to win this championship right here, right now. And they're coming in with my favorite character, is Mechanica. Yada coming in with Min Min. It's all to play for here. If Yada wins this point, we get ourselves a bracket reset. If Rifa wins this point, the championship is over, and Rifa will take it. Min Min gonna immediately charge up that watt and immediately get a shock on the Mechanica. Mechanica, naturally, one of the more heavier characters as well, in the same class as Mummy and Brass, so again, there'll be no flinching whatsoever. But if that Megaton hits, you'll know it. And Rifa's going to block it out this time around. They're coming in with a Chiller and a Coolerang, so going all of the ice routes, if you couldn't tell with the fact that they have the ice blue Mechanica skin. And Yada accompanied with the Chiller, so we got 3 chills and a Megaton essentially, and Yada already has Rush ready to go, and Rifa pinging into the half health and is gonna fall foul to a Rush 325, and Rifa is in a lot of trouble here. This grab might KO, and it does KO. I'm sorry, is that a perfect? In the grand final of all places! A grand final perfect from Yada of all people. The Watt is going to just flame through Rifa, who's going to commit to the rush. They're coming in with the Kablammer. Big time heavy damage from this arm. It'll leave that little flick before it hits. And Yada is feeling the pressure of this immediately. Rifa not happy with how that match went down whatsoever. The Megaton has not been charged up yet. No Dragon Arm in sight for Yada. You know Rifa is playing this so much more aggressively here, and it shows. There's a couple of pokes going in every now and then from the Chiller. And there is the shock that Yada was after, but it came down just in a nick of time, and the rush won't connect either. So Yada is going to charge up that Megaton instantly, because they knew they weren't going to get any further damage. That was just a series of unfortunate events there for Yada. And Rifa is piling on this pressure. Megaton cancelled out by a massive rush. 355. Yada was just a poke away from going down, and there's the grab that'll seal it. So after going to that perfect, Rifa immediately bounced back with a "excuse you, I am the one who wants to win this." It is championship point for Rifa. It is reset point for Yada. This is anyone's game, as we're going to see the Biffler make an appearance. An interesting pick here for Yada, and I'm not entirely sure if it's a good pick or not, especially against the Kablammer and the Chiller. We'll see how it all plays out, but they're going to really hope that they can just mess and annoy Rifa as much as possible with this and force them in to some blind Megaton damage. It's going to be an interesting strategy, but the Kablammer is going to hit so hard, and that Chiller is quick as well. Yada has a lot to deal with. It causes some explosions, but they initiated rush too early. That was just unfortunate. And Yada knows that that was an opportunity completely and utterly wasted. The Megaton is going to get punched through yet again. 345, and it's on moments like those where everything can change. Mechanica gets a grab, sends Yada into critical condition, who is now in absolute jeopardy. One more punch from Riffa or one more grab. That's all Riffa is looking for. The Kablammer hit, but it was just the explosion and nothing more. So now it really is. One punch will settle it. And Yada has it all to do, as Riffa hasn't even gone anywhere near 50%. And the grab will seal it. Riffa ends an amazing grand final set. It went the wire. We had a draw in there along the way. We had a perfect. But Riffa came back with an absolute vengeance and will win a spectacular grand final and is your new holder of the Challenge Cup. Congratulations to everyone involved. What a series. And if you thought the winners, the underground final between Yada and Shetty was an amazing set and a joy to watch, that set between Yada and Riffa, coming out with different characters, coming out with different loadouts on every single match, showing you what each character can and can't do, their strengths and their weaknesses. This was a showcase and a half, and to top it all off, we had a draw and a perfect. What more do you want? What more do you want from the competitive community than a grand final like that? Yes, we didn't get the grand final reset. We didn't get another 5 matches, but that's okay. Even Yada can be so proud of that match. Yes, you finished runner-up, but what a couple of sets that was. You absolutely fought your butt off, and you deserve it so much. Well done. But naturally, the big congratulations go to Riffa, who wins, and Shetty loses out in 3rd place this time around. Didn't make grand final. That's how close it has been this time round. So, thank you one and all. Thank you to all the players who took part. Thank you to everybody who came out to watch, whether you're watching this live or watching this back via YouTube or other means. And as always, thank you to the organisers for giving us a chance to do what we do. Oh my word. I think it's a good time to leave this off. If you would like to see more of what we all do, we've got our links down below. Our Twitter, @European_arms. Our YouTube, EU Arms Competitive. Our Twitch channel right here, @EU_arms. And obviously our Discord description down below if you would like to take part in future events. Until then, I have been Tamashi Kanjo. I hope you have enjoyed hearing this girl just lose her damn mind during this tournament, especially during these last 2 sets. It has been so much fun. Thank you all for coming by. And I guess we'll see you next time. Keep an eye on the Twitter for more information. Keep fighting and stay fresh.